Hi, everyone. I'll say good morning. I am Shamira Lacomwa. I'm calling in from Washington, D.C., and I work for the African Visionary Fund, which is a pooled fund that provides unrestricted multi-year funding to African-founded and led social impact organizations. We've been around since 2020, and since then, we've raised 10 million to support African-founded and led social entrepreneurs, and excited to connect with you all here today.
Great to meet you, Shamira. Then there's Michelle Johnson.
Hi, Michelle Johnson. I am a fundraising consultant and I work with a transnational organization that has offices in Nairobi, Kenya. And I said I would join to learn more about fundraising on the continent. And I do have to drop off in 15 minutes for another meeting, so I apologize for leaving.
All right. Okay. Thank you. Oh, Dana.
Hi, all. My name is Donna James. I'm a part of the Global Council as well with these wonderful folks. I will spare you my image. It's a little bit early for me. I am normally based in Las Vegas, but I'm at a conference in Portland right now. So still early, but on the go.
Thank you, Donna.
Of course.
Thank you for all the work behind the scenes that you and Jenny have done for this. Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you, Carol.
Yeah. And there's Prince.
Hi again, everyone. My name is Prince Nare. I'm a Zimbabwean who has been working in South Africa for the past nearly 17 years. I'm a co-director at Just Detention International South Africa. We are a health and human rights organization that seeks to end sexual abuse in all forms of detention. Yeah, that's me. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, Prince. Sadia.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Sadia from Accountability Lab South Africa. We are an organization based in Johannesburg. We focus on citizen-led citizenry to make governance available for citizens. We look at governance, accountability, and integrity. We support active citizenry and educate the citizens to hold people of power to become responsible leaders in accountability and activity. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Sadia. Karibu sana.
What I want to get out of this is see how we can get funding for our projects that we have difficulty in getting, especially here in South Africa.
Okay. Thank you, Sadia. Annie?
Hi, I actually am right outside of Portland, Oregon as well. I live in Sherwood, so also very early here, but my name's Annie Mills. I'm the project and development manager for a small nonprofit called Gifts Rwanda. And we are dedicated to supporting sustainable and positive changes for this small Rwandan village who have asked for support in getting skills and education to uplift themselves out of poverty.
Thank you, Annie. Benson?
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Benson Masero. I'm calling in from Nairobi, Kenya. I represent Education for All Children, which is an education to employment program that seeks to support bright and needy students across the country in an effort to improve their livelihoods through getting decent jobs and maybe getting into the space to be able to earn income. Thank you so much. I'm looking forward to interacting to see how we can be able to plug in and get resources to drive this agenda. Thank you.
Thank you, Benson. Rashida?
Hi. Sorry, I'm off camera for the moment, but I'm Rashida. I am in Washington, D.C. I am a fundraiser for the Nature Conservancy, which is operating globally in 72 countries. We have lots of conservation work happening across Africa I don't work on that team. I would love to work on that team someday. But yeah, we're doing lots of indigenous community-led conservation work in places like Tanzania. To just give an example that's more humanitarian focused conservation work. And I'm very curious to meet other people doing fundraising in Africa, across Africa, and would love to get to know you guys. Thank you.
All right. Thank you all. It's taken some time to connect, but it is very African for all of us to say hi and to introduce each other to each other. So I think in terms of when we're talking about community-centric, greetings is I see you. So this is time for us to see each other. So yeah, I'll hand over to Abigail.
All right, and Jenny, if you could kindly assist with those slides. So community-centric fundraising is a movement. How many, if you all can show me in the chat, how many of you are already familiar with community-centric fundraising? I'll wait for a second to use a moment. Yeah, how many of you are already familiar with community-centric fundraising versus how many of you are new to it? Okay, we have a not very familiar. Thank you, Prince. New, familiar from Shamira. Thank you. New. Okay, we have some folks who are new. Oh, love it, love it. Thank you so much. A little familiar, very familiar. Okay, wonderful. So in that case, I'll give a little bit of the 101 for community-centric fundraising. So in short, it began as a hyper-local movement in Seattle in 2019, but the ideas from it began in someone named Vule's blog in 2015. And by 2019, people were talking about those ideas who were in Seattle, and in Washington, Washington, United States, sorry, early. And momentum began gathering around these ideas of what does these ideas mean? What might they mean for us? How would we want to change and revolutionize fundraising so that it is centered on Black, Indigenous, and people of color around the world, so that it is focused on Indigenous practices from around the world, rather than going with previous fundraising models that were very harmful, especially to Black and Indigenous people around the world. So community-centric fundraising is a movement that seeks to address that. We believe that fundraising should be grounded in equity and social justice. On the community-centric fundraising website, there's a list of 10 principles, as well as some values that Carol will go over, just to whet your appetite so that you can go and look up more on what this movement is about. And we have a very vibrant Slack space where we have several different Africa-centered groups. And then we also have something called the CCF Hub, where a lot of people submit their writings about how they're applying community-centric fundraising principles in order to do their fundraising practice in a way that feels authentic and honoring, not only to the donor, but also to their own humanity and the needs of the community. Carol?
All right, so thank you. One of the hopeful conversations that we will have later is about the principles we share, and we espouse the 10 principles. But today we will speak a little bit about the values. So these are the values that guide all of us who join, in spite and despite of the fields that we are fundraising for, or the spaces that we are in. So the first one is equity. and for Americans, equity. So is that there's space, even though there's space for everyone, the work must be led by the people most affected by injustice. And so that means that the blog posts, 75% of the work that goes on there, written by people of color, Black people, people of color, 75% of the leadership is people of color, and people, there's acceptance of people as they are in their shared identities, and then we also strive to compensate people equitably. And then, of course, there's the role of white allies. They play a critical but a supporting role in the work that we're doing. The principle of courage is I think most of us who are in community work, we espouse courage. But and the courage within CCF is that we will speak and act boldly and loudly, and issues of race, slavery, reparations, colonization, anti-Blackness, and white supremacy are not issues that we are afraid to talk about and also tackle head on. Then, but the beauty about this conversation is, as I said, I'm a learning fundraiser, that we accept failure as part of learning, that we are all learning. The history of this global council is that we were given a baby to grow. And so this is us learning, this is us building from not scratch, but building together. And so I hope that especially with the African regional group, because there has not been one before, that we will allow ourselves to grow together and grow into a community and that knows each other. That's the other value. A community that knows each other, grows with each other, we care about each other. And then when we host events, that your family and your children will be welcomed, yeah? And we make it fun. We enjoy ourselves. We had our global council. I couldn't attend it, but it was so fun. I was staying up until like 2 a.m. just chilling with people because it's fun, yeah. So, and then integrity, the work that we do, of course, has to be led by integrity. We want to do things and to do them well. And hopefully, as you join us, you will see that we are people of integrity. And I believe that integrity is more about what you can say, that we can say that we are people of integrity, but it's you people who are joining in who will let us know if we really are espousing that. Then one of my favorite bits, or one of the values that I hold close, is movement building. That it's grassroots movements. It's we are building solidarity between people, between communities. It is not one. It's not one person knows it all. It's not one NGO knows it all. It is all of us, movement building, learning from each other. And we are pushing for transformative change over incremental change. So it's a lot about systems, advocating for systems, yeah, and transforming this world. And we are really daredevils. We believe that we can do it. So yeah. So for this session, we'll have some Jenny, will we? Yeah, I love that GIF. It's so cool. Jenny, will we break out? Will you put us in breakout groups, like 4 of them? Because we'll go into our breakout rooms and ask ourselves as we're getting to know each other more, what the best practices that you've found in fundraising.
Quick question for you, Carol. Would you like me to assign those manually, or do you want participants to be able to choose?
You can assign them manually for now.
Perfect.
Yeah.
It's going to be a bit random, but we'll have those in a
Yes.
second.
So we'll be there for about 10 minutes, and then we'll have five minutes reporting time. So we want to find out from you, what are the best practices of fundraising that you found, and where are you getting this, like the places and the spaces that you're getting this fund, and do you think the values that we've shared as CCF, do you feel that they are there? Yes, we'll send the questions. We'll add the questions to the chat and we'll send it to everybody.
We were having a great conversation in the session that I was in. At first I was like, 10 minutes. I don't know. Is that going to be too long? And it wasn't. It really wasn't.
I hate yanking people out of great conversations.
You actually got us out of a conversation. We were about to fight. It was very nice. We were like, fight. So I don't know why you got us out of there.
Too funny.
We were ready for it.
Man.
All right, welcome back, everyone. Of course, you each only got a chance to have conversations with a couple of other people, but we hope that this little taste is just the beginning of flourishing relationships. If you want to throw in the chat any takeaways that you found or any best practices that you chatted about in your group, please feel free to share those with others. In the group I was in, it turned out the two other people were also based in South Africa, one in Cape Town and the other in Joburg. And there were some pretty cool thoughts on, I think we talked briefly about fiscal sponsorship, spoke briefly about the transition from looking for exclusively government funding or public purse related funding and trying to get into a bit of individual giving. Let's see, what else did folks talk about? Yes, change it to diversify, bring equity, and include, right? To get it to be a verb. Lovely.
In my group, it was Shamira, Carolyn, and Carol, and we were talking about how we don't need to be going to the Bill Gates and the IMF and the World Bank for money. Like, there's so much money within this continent. Literally, it's the motherland. The farmers have so much money. The microfinance banks have so much money. And the thing is, there's a disconnect between willing investors and the people who need the funding going to get it. And I think if we step a little bit further back, it's about knowing your audience as well. Because if I went to a Luo tycoon, for example, I would be lucky if he knew what a lean canvas model is. Even I am struggling to say what it is. And things like this, an elevator pitch or like a pitch deck, or these things that we see on what is it called, Shark Tank, and the British one with a guy like Steve Bartlett. That's the audience in the West. And unfortunately, even the media I wish, I could talk to someone at Showmax Africa maybe and tell them like we need our own African one to teach our Africans how to pitch to African tycoons. Because one of the things I like saying a lot is there's no legislation without representation. As we go to the YC funds and as we go to all of those, they have their own rules, they have lawyers, they have systems that have been set. But as a continent, we're still growing. As founders and entrepreneurs on the continent, we're still growing. And the best way we can grow is together because, Ubuntu. So we come together, maybe the people in this meeting, if we have ideas, we go for it. There's so much money and so much wisdom in this room. Why not do it together instead of doing it individually? And everyone is trying to follow I want to build my wealth like Donald Trump. Surely Donald Trump, is that someone we should be looking up to? So yeah, those are my thoughts.
Amen, amen, amen.
Thank you so much, Nyambura. And I think we will not have enough time to hear from what all of us said in the group, but please put some of the responses on the chat so that then we can read and share with them. So in terms of, we needed to hear from someone who's been in this game and who's in Africa, fundraising for Africa. So Wahiga, could you tell us more about yourself, about global giving and what you're doing for Africa and how you're getting funding? Yeah.
Okay, brilliant. Okay, thank you very much. Am I able to share? Would you allow me to share my screen? Ready whenever you are. If you give me that, I'll appreciate it.
Thank you, Wanga. Just give me 1 second. Sorry,
No worries, no worries, no worries.
Share. Okay. Are you able to now?
Let me try that again. Good. Yes, I am. Yes, I am.
Beautiful.
Let's see. Okay, great. Visible? Is it good for everybody? You can see my screen?
No,
I can't
I
see it.
think
Now I can.
we still
Oh, wow.
think. Oh, there you are.
Okay. You know, sorry, very random joke is that every time in a Zoom meeting, there's a chorus that goes on. Can you now see my screen when I'm screen sharing? etc, etc. Everybody's always asking something random like that. Or can you hear me? Can you hear me not? Anyway, to get on to the conversation, thank you very much for this opportunity, Carol and Jenny. Thank you so much. I really appreciate for you giving me as Wahiga and also Global Giving as an organization the opportunity to do this. So I'll make it quick. Starting with just by a show of emoji, how many know about Global Giving? You can just raise your hand or not raise your hand. Okay, good. Thank you for the thumbs up. Somebody didn't follow instruction. I said hands up, not thumbs up, but good. Now I know who's in this meeting and who's not. Okay, great. So about global giving, we're all about sharing impact, building networks, raising funds. Now, global giving connects nonprofits, donors, and companies in nearly every country in the world. We help fellow nonprofits access funding, tools, training, and support, which is very key for us because of capacity building, and also ensuring that funding gets to the right people, just as like I said. But better than that, also ensuring that there's a peer network of community within people who are trying to raise funds. So just for example, just like we are here and somebody actually mentioned, why can't we all come together and do something together? So that's actually a cue for you, Carol. Maybe one day we'll get to that. So we make giving safe and easy for donors of all kinds and support them. So we have a platform, which is the Global Giving Platform, which is really fully like a funding intermediary between funders and grantees and connecting them together all through. About myself, don't worry, guys. I'll share this slide with you all, so no need to really copy or look at anything. It will be open for you all. I've been in the journalist industry for the last 10 years, been in the innovations ecosystem for the last 12 years. So I bring that combination when it comes to philanthropy and the network itself. Just looking for new ways to see how impact can happen on the ground and how also there can be real diversity, equity, and inclusion for one and all, especially for people who are doing the real work on the ground, grassroots organizations and community-led organizations. So since 2002, we've helped raise 916 million USD from 1,836,718 people who, like you, have actually supported many other people in between. We have more than 36,485 projects in 175 countries. And the majority of our work is actually in the global South countries, I must admit. They're more of the beneficiaries. That said, we invest in community-led organizations. I think I mentioned that already, for more effective change. And a pathway we have into joining global giving. I actually had somebody talk about accessing funds. Please reach out to me, because that's my work. My work is actually making sure that you get access to funds, get access to funders, and get access to a community that believes in the work that you're doing, either as a support group, for lack of a better word, there should be an AA for funders, I must admit, especially guys who are here, or rather fundraisers. That's actually the point. There should be an AA for fundraisers, or organizations that are really trying to fundraise or do the work of impact on the ground, because there's so much that cuts across all of them that they don't know how to get support for. So we have a program called Pathway to Global Giving, which allows you to enter into global giving. In simple fact, it helps you through due diligence and just understanding, are we a good fit for you as you are a good fit for us? Because not everybody finds global giving as a meaningful organization also, and that's okay. And also vice versa, the same applies. So the pathway experience, I won't get into that. And so with finishing, what are the partnership benefits? Professional personalized fundraising pages, training and support for your level, like you take whichever level of organization you are at, and fundraising opportunities and extra funding. So without further ado, please reach out to me at any point in time. I will share this slide, so don't worry. Thank you. My name is Wahiga Kemuturi. You may ask your question.
Thank you, Wahiga. We are running short of time. That was really helpful. And to know that there's a community of there's global giving that's here that helps us in this fundraising journey. And I hope that this the Africa regional chapter will be a place where all of us who are fundraising, who are funders, come together to ensure that the funding process is done in a community-centric way, but also that there's access to funding and to funders, and also skills and training, as you have said. So thank you very much. Amazing. So we'll get the presentation. I think I'm not sure how we'll be able to share it out. I think we have.
I've already shared.
You have already shared. Thank you very much. So, Abigail?
Yes.
Yeah.
Are we returning to our set of slides?
Yes, we are.
Okay. So, now is just to look at how do we want to grow as the community-centric fundraising Africa chapter. Should we grow? What might that growth look like? What kinds of information, resources, gathering opportunities sound exciting to people who are here? And you can come off mute to say this, or you can type in the chat.
I have a suggestion. I've just been listening, but I loved what Nyambura said about teaching folks to pitch in a way that makes sense for Africa and for the folks there. Maybe that's something that we could help with SDCF. Maybe it's a future virtual session we could do.
I'm seeing a couple of nods. Folks that are off video, maybe you can put something in the chat to see if you resonate with that idea.
Hi, this is Shamira. I can share my idea or what's in my mind verbally. I would love to maybe chat through and hear different people's strategies about talking about their impact to different audiences. I think that a lot of times organizations might get used to communicating the work that they do to a particular audience, when in reality, I think sometimes your message needs to be kind of changed depending on who you're communicating to. So kind of like what Nyambura was saying, even like the lingo of social impact might really draw a foundation who is talking a lot about impact and metrics and stuff, but maybe when you're talking with an individual donor, you want to change how you're communicating about your work. And so it'd be cool to have a session maybe talking about that, or like a workshop.
I second what she just said. I think very practical things to apply to our work as fundraisers would be very helpful. And what does it look like to reframe the conversation when you're speaking externally to people? And I would also love to hear for people who are actually working on the continent, especially when you're dealing with local entities, local funders, or individual givers. How are you approaching people? What are your methods for engagement? I would love to hear that, because I'm used to I only know one way of fundraising, and that's what I have been doing for 15 years in the very American context.
If I can jump in, so there's a few people who do a great job with facilitation. I can see, Donna, you asked me in the chat. One of them is right here with us. His name is Waihiga K. Muturi. He's done this for many years. You can do it very easily. And then there's organizations like one called Sandbox, but without the if someone could help me put the website in the chat, that'd be great. Sandbox without the vowels, so SNDBX. And there's also another one called Wild. They were founded by the same person who transitioned from Wild. Wild is WYLDE, something.com.org, I'm not sure. Those three people I highly recommend. So Mr. Waihiga, who is here with us, and Mr. Joram. Joram is not here, but his organizations are doing amazing things.
All right. So thank you. I think I'm looking at the time, Abigail. We had promised to end by 5 o'clock East African time, but it does sound like because one of the things we wanted to find out from this conversation is if we should grow, and then if yes, how. And I hear that we do want something. We need to also find out how often would we want to have something like this. It does sound, am I frozen? Am I frozen? All right. Yeah, it does sound like we do want to have more of these sessions. We might need to know about the frequency of it, but it does sound, and strategies to communicate for different audiences, how to retrain the conversations, how to pitch experiences when fundraising locally. So we will I think we will, it does sound like there's a need, and so we will look into that. Yeah.
Yeah, and until then, if you are not already a part of our Slack channel, there's a form that you can fill out on Community-Centric Fundraising.org. You go to that website, and then once you click, I think it's Get Connected. Is it Get Connected, Jenny? I don't want to misspeak.
I believe so, Abigail.
Anywho, it's something along getting connected, get involved. And then when you click to join the Slack space, you'll be prompted to fill out a form. And then once you fill out that form, then we'll admit you into the Slack space. And there are many, many different channels. And the channels are based off of location, but also job function, as well as the function of the organization. And you can look for best practices that others have used and see if any of those work for your context. There are many people in there from the US and Canada, but there are also an increasing number of folks from other contexts, as well as who are working in various cross-national and transnational contexts. Wahiga?
Great. I'm assuming we've closed, so I don't think my point is relevant. I just wanted to answer the question in like 3 minutes, but I think time is up.
Hola, Sana.
All right. So this means that we need another session, all of us, with Wahiga, because the questions are many, which is a good thing. Also, we have the Africa Rising Slack channel that is for all of us who are in the continent. Then there's Africa Allies. Africa Allies is for people who are not. Abigail, it's for white people who are working in Africa. Is that it?
Yeah, there's a number of expat fundraisers.
Yes.
So that one's for expatriate fundraisers.
Yes. So we, on all those conversations, we are there to curate our conversations and grow this community. I hope we become one of the most vibrant CCF communities, but also that the work that we are doing, not just we are there on social media, but it has impact on what we are doing in our organizations, in our movement building, and that we align to the values of CCF, because maybe one of those other things we've not spoken about is about, the power balance between the funders and the and the funded organizations. And so maybe those are some of the conversations we have to have. So thank you so very much. Abigail, do you have anything to say? Jenny, Dana?
No, I'm just so grateful to have you all here with us. This was really fun. It went, even though, we're connecting from many different places, I feel like it went too fast, and that, power and internet and all the other forces that did not prevent us from connecting today.
Yes. Thank you, guys. Thank you very much. See you next time. We'll communicate about our next forum, and I hope to see you and more people here. Kwaheri.